Hey, what's up everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome back to another track preview in MX Simulator, where today we're going to be playing and talking about the 2023 Houston Supercross. And I feel like I have to, right from the start of this thing, show you guys the start of this race, because look at how crazy this is. Left-hand 180-degree turn goes through, what, like 3 different lanes, and then right into a tunnel jump. I'm really curious to see if they actually have that this weekend. After the tunnel jump, you have this 3-footer, 3-footer, a tabletop, and then a couple more 3-footers, and then I think a 5-footer and a 3-footer out. So there's a couple different options there. I'm just going to take you through the track a little bit here. So we got a double up to the finish line jump right here, and then you go back under the tunnel. So a quick little sequence right there on the first lap where you hit the finish line jump after only a few corners. You have a sand corner right here that launches you back out over the first turn complex, and then right into a Supercross triple right here. Big one too, because of how much run up you get to it. Little double right there, and then I feel like this rhythm section is going to be really interesting to see how it breaks down in real life, because we have 6 singles in a row. They're all probably about like 4-foot singles in the game, but maybe they'll be only 3-foot singles in real life. And then one extra single between the first turn complex that kind of jumps you back across the start straights. You hit a bull berm here and then come back across. And on the track map, this is actually like a split single. Like the right side is supposed to be a little bit higher up than the left side, or vice versa. So there's the option, at least it seems like it will be in real life, to double in right here. But in this game, the way the Race Factor Gaming track crew built it, you can only single it, and then it's kind of designed to step on, step off, triple, double through here. But maybe you could go over table and then triple down to this spot right here, and then triple out of this section as well. And then all the way under this little like kind of tunnel section that exists at Houston, and then the whoop section takes you back to right where the first turn area joins up with the track up to the tunnel jump. Like really unique track layout. I'm not really sure if everything that we see in the game is going to be built the way it is here. Like I almost feel like some things are going to change up a little bit, but we'll have to see. But anyway, always wanted to get you guys on here and talk about this track and talk about what we think about it coming up to what they call round 5, but it really to me is round 4 of Monster Energy AMA Supercross this weekend in Houston. I'll be going, so excited to go check it out. My first ever time going to Houston myself, so I've never seen this stadium before, but I will this weekend. And yeah, excited to see if this unique track layout holds up. So like I said, I think this section right here, you might see a 3-3 out to this, and then this single just carries you across the start straight. And then I'm really curious to see how they build this right here, because it might end up being like an option to double into this rhythm section. Like I said, in the game, they've very much made it so you just step on, step off, and then you jump kind of that triple double into the corner. Maybe you could check up and double triple. I don't know. Like it kind of depends on how much momentum you have going, I guess. And then after the whoops right here, I don't know if it's possible. Maybe it is to go outside. Yeah, there you go. Okay, triple on off and then triple out right here. But that is probably not what they're going to do. I'd have to imagine they go inside, maybe roll step on, step off triple, or maybe double table over single triple in real life. I'm sure there's a couple of different options we'll see. But as we are in a football stadium again, we're going to see short lap times. We usually see those baseball stadiums have the longer lap times. Like this past weekend, IRL was a 57, the best lap. So I'm already running a 56, and that was honestly a pretty slow lap. I think, if I remember right, one of the laps I put down to start this video, or before I started this video, I should say, was somewhere in the area of a 53 or something like that. And that's obviously pushing, and I'm not near as fast as the pros in this game. So I'm sure they'll go faster. And by the way, I do record this before the MX Simulator race happens, so I don't really know how this track is going to race in sim nor real life, but obviously when you're watching this, you will know how this track will at least race in sim, because we'll have already had the sim race. So yeah, I guess watching the sim race also provides a little bit of a key into how the track might race, how it might break down, and so on and so forth. But yeah, like I said, unique track design. I'm kind of curious to see if the back and forth that they have here, like we have, what, 1, 2, 3 definitive bowl corners in a row, left, right, left. I wonder if that back and forth creates more passing opportunities. We have these long lanes that go almost the whole distance of the stadium, so you'd have to imagine that that should at least help create some passing opportunities in some shape or form. And I feel like these rhythm sections are also very fast, so that might also make it easier, or maybe even harder, to pull up alongside guys to try to set up passes. It's going to be interesting to watch for sure. But anyway, aside from the track breakdown, I kind of wanted to use the second half of this video a little bit to just kind of preview the 250 East Championship, because I'm not going to do a whole separate video talking about 250 East, but figured I should at least kind of preview it so you guys know what to expect coming into this weekend. If you follow Supercross enough, you pretty much already know who the players will be in 250 East because it's all the 250 guys that we haven't seen yet. The Hunter Lawrences, the Michael Mosemans, and so on and so forth. But there's a big shakeup with who's going to be racing 250 East as of just last week because we kind of already, had heard that Jet Reynolds for Pro Circuit Kawasaki was not going to be racing East for them this year. He's still trying to get healthy, and so maybe Ryder DiFrancesco was going to race, but then he got hurt in the offseason, so he's not going to do it either. And now it's completely gone from a team that they might have had racing East to a completely different team that will be racing East because Joe Shimoda broke his collarbone, Seth Hamaker broke his wrist, and so neither of them will be in Houston to start the season. And they have called so far only upon the services of Chris Blows to fill in over there. And we think Cedric Subaros will be the other fill-in, but that has not been announced, at least yet, as of this recording. So we'll wait to hear and see. But like I said, I feel like your top guys are going to be Hunter Lawrence on HRC Honda. He's going to be teammates with Chance Hymas, but Hymas is only supposed to be racing select races and not necessarily the full schedule, although he is on the entry list for Houston, so we'll see. And then Michael Moseman will be there for Shorely Designs Red Bull Gas Gas. So there's a couple former winners. Also in the docket of former winners, Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing will have Nate Thrasher out there and Jordan Smith, a couple guys that have also won 250 races. But arguably the biggest storyline is Hayden Deegan is on the entry list for Houston, even though he finished 5th in the Futures race. But if you were in the stadium, you knew that he was much faster than 5th. He just happened to crash twice and a couple other things happened. So Star had kind of already hinted that Deegan would be racing Houston. Talking with some people under the tent on Friday at Star, it sounded like that was going to be the case almost no matter what, so I'm not necessarily surprised to still see him on the entry list, but maybe it does change just because things didn't go well in Futures. I don't know, but what is not happening as we know is, or as we believe I should say, not as we know, is we don't think Daxton Bennick, who did win Supercross Futures, will be racing East this year. It is, for him, full A class this year, trying to win some titles and build himself up and race a lot of Supercross Futures. So even though he won the first one at Anaheim, I don't think we're going to see Bennick at all in the East. Maybe we will, but at least for Houston, it doesn't sound like that's possible. So that's another storyline. And then if we're continuing to talk about winners, we of course have to mention Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha's Jeremy Martin, the two-time 250 national champion, though we're almost at a point where that was a decade ago now, and multi-time 250 Supercross race winner. But that also has been a little while since we've seen J Mart atop the box. So it's weird because he is so good that you just always expect him to be up front, but because he hasn't won in a long time, he's flying so far under the radar as well. And he's also not on a quote-unquote factory team anymore. So a lot of things that are kind of working maybe against J Mart, but maybe it's a good thing that he's finally not under factory 10. He can kind of do his own program. Maybe that helps him. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how he does. But like I said, after that, it gets slim pickings. Jalik Swoll broke his arm, so he's going to be out for Rockstar Husqvarna. We believe that Talon Hawkins, who finished 3rd in Supercross Futures at Anaheim 2, will be making his Supercross debut this weekend for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. He was technically supposed to already be here, but he tore his ACL last year and missed all Supercross Futures anyway, so they pushed his whole program back a year, and he's going to do Supercross Futures this year. But in terms of the race-ready guys, he is supposed to be the one that is the most race-ready for them if he was to be called upon. And it doesn't sound like they're going to call a fill-in. It sounds like they're going to have Hawkins race 250 East. So that is going to be Swoll's fill-in there. Red Bull KTM has their guy ready to go, but it is maybe the biggest question mark of a guy that will be racing this weekend, maybe aside from Hayden Deegan, I guess. But it's two-time MX2 world champion Tom Vial, who has made the full-time move to the USA. And looks like he is trying to make a career out of racing Supercross and motocross in the USA. And we're going to finally see his first look at Supercross this weekend. Now, I've already been to the KTM test track twice to watch Vial ride. We went to a photo shoot day with him, and then we went to the team intros. So I got to see about a month difference with Vial. And I will say, from the first time I saw him ride, which was about week 2 on the bike, till the second time I saw him ride, which was about 6 weeks on the bike, market improvement, definitely something that's noticeably gaining, I guess I should say, about him with Supercross is that he's comfortable in the whoops to charge into them. He doesn't look scared, which is something that a lot of the foreign riders, particularly French riders, tend to struggle with. He doesn't look scared to me. He looks like he's ready to send it and crash trying, which could be a bad thing, but he also seems like he's done so far a nice job of not getting hurt by doing that method. So we'll see whether that bites him this weekend or not. I personally don't necessarily think I would pick him as like a podium guy yet or anything like that. But I do think that you have to imagine, with all the training that he's had this offseason, working with Mike Brown, working with Alden Baker, obviously all the help with Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, and he's been here basically since the end of the MX2 Championship. He did not race the Motocross of Nations for Team France for that reason, to come to the USA and start working on Supercross. So he's been working, he's been trying to get better, he's been trying to get ready, and now this is where it all comes to fruition. He's got like 3 months under his belt of Supercross, and now we get to see what it looks like this weekend. So definitely going to be an interesting dynamic, an interesting watch, and I really have no idea how he's going to do, but I hope, for the sake of the series and making things a little bit more interesting, that he's good and that he comes out swinging and looks strong from the get-go and doesn't get hurt, because we want to see him for nationals. That's definitely where I want to see Tom Vial this year. But yeah, that's kind of, I feel like, almost it for the 250 East Supercross Championship. Obviously, you know, losing Shimoda and Hammaker is a huge blow, because those guys were going to make it interesting for sure against Hunter Lawrence. But now it's a little bit, you know, more tight and narrow. I forgot to mention Nick Romano will also be there for Star, but this is also kind of a Supercross debut for him, so no idea how he's going to do. It's, to me, a lot more so than West, a lot more question marks. I feel like a lot of the guys that did race 250 Supercross West last year have either moved on or stayed West this year, when all the 250 East guys that raced East last year jumped over and raced West. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I think going in, Hunter Lawrence probably the favorite. He has more wins than anybody else on the track. Not quite combined, but more wins than anybody else. I think he has 5 career wins. I think JMart has 3. Michael Mosiman has 1. Thrasher has, I guess Thrasher has 3, so not quite more than anybody else combined. But yeah, gonna be fun, gonna be interesting. I think for the first round, I will say podium will be, I will say Mosiman wins the opener. I'll pick an off the wall one. Hunter gets second, J-Mark gets third. I think that's a pretty safe bet, but who knows? Maybe things get wild and Hayden Deegan wins the first ever race of his career. We could see something crazy like that for sure. But that is Houston. This is the track. This is what we're going to look at this weekend coming up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed previewing this track and previewing the 250 Supercross East Championship. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or anything else you want to talk about in regards to East, or really anything in the series, let me know in the comment section below. Happy to go down there and chat with you guys. But thanks for watching another video here on Start Your Systems. My name is Kellen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.